And welcome back to this portion of our Real Estate Radio Hour. We're talking earlier, if you joined us, about lowball offers, but we were talking off-air about, I just got my tax statement here, last week or two, within the last week or two, and this is kind of confusing, I think, for a lot of people, and we've touched on this in the show before. The difference between, you've got market value, you've got assessed value. What am I leaving out? There's another one.
The appraised value.
The appraised value.
Yep.
I have a feeling this is confusing for a lot of people, not just me.
Well, should we try to make it clear as mud?
Please. Can you do that?
Well, let me tell you a little bit about. You got your tax statements, and Denny referred to it already. That's come to everybody's homes, or most people's homes, at least. And usually, when you look at your proposed tax statements for 2013, most people go down to the bottom and say, okay, what is it really going to mean to me? And that is, how much is it going up or how much is it going down?
Right.
But then there's another number in there that gives a little static to the homeowner. It's like, what's this assessed value? It's a lot more. Right now, many times we're finding people believe it's more than what they can actually sell their home for. And the reason for that is when they put the value there for your assessed value, they're trailing the market. In fact, they take a value date of January 2nd, for instance. But what you just got here recently was the value of January 2nd, 2012.
2012.
Okay? And now what they're looking at is comparables that are from 2011 or possibly even 2010. So when the market's going down, most people will complain that their assessed value is too high. But if you look back 10 years ago, we never really complained about it back then because we were trailing the market when the market was going up. And we'd put our heads down and say, oh, we got by with them. But it's different now. And so that's why it's a little bit top of mind for people when they see their tax statements. But again, the bottom line is the taxes, and the taxes are the taxes. And that's, I guess that's what we have to that's our privilege of sorts.
Is it difficult to explain to a client as a real estate agent to tell them the difference between these things and, hey, relax, or it's not the end of the world, or what?
Well, it causes confusion.
Yeah,
because they want to draw back to that. Particularly, a seller might draw back to that, or a buyer might look at it and say, well, look at what this is worth. Or a seller might say, well, this is what my home's worth. This is what the tax assessment is. But again, keep in mind, that's looking at comparables over 12 months ago. And maybe 18 months. So it's really not current information.
So market value, assessed value, and appraised value.
Yeah, let's talk about appraised value. That's another one. And I've got my designation for appraisal and go through classes and have got my license as well as I've been a married one for 15. That's been for 20-some years, and she's been appraising for 15 years, so it's rubbed off on me a little bit. But the reality on that is an appraiser, they form opinion of value. They have to give you a dollar amount, what they think that home is worth. Ideally, they like to look back in the last 3 months. Okay, and look at comparables the last 3 months of what's sold. But there are times they have to go back farther, and maybe it's 6 months. In unusual cases where it's maybe an unusual property, they might have to go even back 12 months. But ideally, they want to look at the last 3 and form their opinion of value of that from that period of time and say, this is what the home's worth. You might see on an appraisal where it might list some active listings. The reality, it doesn't go into their reconciliation of value. And so they're pegging that value to a dollar amount.
All right.
And Denny, from our point of view, from a financing standpoint, the only value of these that matter is the appraisal. We're not in terms of financing a home. We're not able to use either a tax value or a market analysis or anything like that.
Well, it makes sense, though. You have to hang your head on that.
It's an appraised value, and the appraisal. Well, that's really our only option. And we do get a lot of people, frankly, that say, when inquiring about a refinance, particularly, and then they're trying to establish their value, they say, well, my tax value says it's $200,000. Well, that is, we would counsel them that is not necessarily accurate one way or the other. So.
All right. Well, hang on, guys. We'll take a break here, and we come right back. We've got a caller on the line. I think that may be something that, well, you all could probably handle, but especially maybe Matt. So we'll get your questions answered after the break here on 830 WCC.